more than 100 years old. Since birth, I have been cared for by many generations of one family. I was born in this setting on the western edge of Canada, not far from Victoria. It is a pristine place amongst firs and cedars. I was christened Benvenuto, Italian for welcome, but visitors call me the Butchart Gardens. I've spread a little since my youth. I now cover 55 acres. That's 22 hectares in metric measure. While I collect my thoughts, why don't I leave you to wander on your own for a bit, to see my many gardens within a garden. 1928, Mr. and Mrs. Butchart were awarded the freedom of the city. The quotation of the day couldn't have been more apt: for their public service and kindliness of heart. One of their grandchildren, Ian Ross, played amongst my flowers during his childhood. Then in 1939, they gave me, their beloved gardens, to Ian for his 21st birthday. During his 55 years of stewardship, Ian Ross developed me into a world-renowned beauty, attracting millions of admirers from all over the globe. For his efforts, Ian Ross received both the Order of British Columbia and the Order of Canada. And oh, what a time it's been, with Mr. and Mrs. Butchart for 35 years. And with Ian and his wife Anne Lee for more than 50. Still in the Butchart-Ross family, great-granddaughter Robin Clark and her son Barnabas continue to cater to my every need. I love the freshness of spring flowers, hundreds of thousands of flowering bulbs amongst blossoming trees and shrubs. Now that you're getting to know me, I would like to share with you some of my vital statistics. I'm on 55 acres of a 130-acre estate. My ingenious gardeners have extended my seasons with a succession of plantings, providing continuous color from early March until November. All of the world's gardens have their hallmarks. Mine is my forest setting, against which an unending display of color parades itself. The sunken garden lake, where trout came to feed when Mr. Butchart clapped his hands. Some Some of us get diamonds, but for my 60th anniversary, I was given the Ross Fountain. This fountain began in the imagination of Ian Ross, who designed and built it of ordinary hardware with the help of his plumber and electrician to create endless variations. British Columbia's arbutus tree is the largest member of the heather family. It sheds its bark every year. The Japanese garden. Here, Mrs. Butchart brought a visitor one day, a British adventurer named Captain Frederick Marshman Bailey, who talked of a poppy which he'd recently discovered in Tibet. He was amazed when Mrs. Butchart happily showed him his blue poppy, grown here from the original seed he'd sent to the Edinburgh Botanical Garden. Here in Waterwheel Square, we end our spring tour at a bed of Jenny Butchart tulips. Now it's time to see me in my summer clothes. Every beauty loves her mirror. To reflect, well, to reflect this, Jenny Butchart's Rose Garden. Hybrid teas, floribundas, ramblers, roses old and new, roses from all over the world. Over 3,000 plants in 250 varieties. I love the names. Cherry Parfait, Mellow Yellow, Canadian Sunset, Peace, and of course my personal favorite, the Jenny Butchart Rose. My gardeners remove spent blooms to encourage continuous flowering throughout the entire summer. Some of my climbing roses are the originals planted by Jenny Butchart. Begonias and fuchsias. Cornus cusa, a relative of British Columbia's dogwood. Creatures fashioned from moss inspire the imagination of my younger visitors. garden is not a static creation. It's a living, breathing work of art that is forever changing. Mrs. Butchart certainly understood that. Her daughter noted in her diary that Mother had just returned from a 6-month world cruise, and the first day back spent 12 whole hours working in the garden. Heavy clay removed for the manufacture of cement left this naturally wet area, which is perfect for my bog garden. Land that once grew vegetables became one of my numerous perennial borders. Once part of the Butchart's kitchen garden, these apple trees are nearly 100 years old. On sunny afternoons, Butchart grandchildren played here on the residence lawn. My bronze sturgeon fountain was purchased in Italy by Mr. and Mrs. Ross. Different from my daytime gardens. And today, another generation of the Butchart Ross family has fashioned new jewels with which to flatter me. Saturday nights during summer, fireworks, choreographed to music from my garden setting by great-grandson Christopher Ross, fill my skies with a theatrical performance of fire. Aren't they marvelous? After the fireworks show, my visitors are entertained by music from my celebration of the joy of Christmases past. cedar and juniper wreaths around the seed and gift store where visitors browse for hours. In this season without flowers, I've been showered with Christmas lights.
Strike the harp and join the chorus. Follow me in merry measure. While I tell of Yuletide treasure.
Families search my gardens for symbols of the 12 days of Christmas.